Keanison knives. I was first introduced to them by my friend Chris, who actually lives in Texas also. He sent me one of his customs, the Alpha Pup, Alpha Dog, Alpha. I don't remember what it was called exactly. But it was super cool. And it kind of had that, and I'll put a link to it up in the corner at the end. It kind of had that cleaver-ish style blade, much like the Black Snow Customs opiate, sort of similar to the Red Horse Knife Works. Not really this upswept, but still kind of cleaver-esque blade. And I loved it. It was super cool and fun. So today we have the Basset Hound. Now, one thing that's super cool is it comes with this really thick microfiber cloth, kind of velour terry on the backside, not terry cloth, but kind of a rougher microfiber, if you will. And then the real smooth microfiber on the front side, and the name of it here, which is super kind of cool. I like that very much. So let me just get that out of the way because it doesn't really add a lot at this point. So they are a custom knife house in Texas. I got to meet them at Blade Show West of last year, 2023, and chatted with them for a little bit, which was super cool. A couple of great guys who was working the booth there and stuff. It was really fun. This, however, is a production model. Now, I don't know who the OEM is. It is made in China. It's as much as I could find out in my quick little search prior to filming. This is a small knife. Let me pull out the AA battery just so you get an idea here before we can go to size comparisons a little bit later like I normally do. This thing is just really small. It's a cool knife, but sadly, my hands are not really conducive to a knife of this size and kind of geometry and ergonomics. So for me, the only way I can really open, I can kind of, well, I can't even really. If I use two fingers, I could kind of get it open and then sort of slow roll. It just doesn't work. It's not right. So I can reverse flick it, which is a silly, dumb way to open a knife, but that's okay. That's my opinion. Yours may differ. But I can't get in there safely and comfortably to thumb it open. It's really awkward, uncomfortable, and just not ideal, which is okay. If you have smaller hands, you may be able to get in there and do it just fine. So for me, though, this is just really small for my particular hand. Okay. Once I get it open, the pocket clip is it's not comfortable, but it's not uncomfortable. I feel it in my hand, which is not a big deal. Overall, I liked the knife. If it was slightly bigger, if it was the Basset Hound XL, it would work really well for me. Okay. Closed length, you have 4 inches. Overall is 6 3/4. So you have a 2.72 inch blade with a 2.63 cutting edge. That just shows you how small it really is. Behind the edge is 0.015. This thing is rather sharp and slicey. 0.135 blade thickness of MagnaCut in a nice stone-washed finish. Beautiful carbon fiber, titanium liners, titanium pocket clip. I love the green anodized pivot collars. It really ties it all in. All in all, I think it's a great knife that's just on the small side. These things were about $250, if I recall, from looking at a couple of websites. I believe they're mostly sold out. There is a copper version I saw with copper carbon fiber, I believe it was, on the Keanison website. And it was like $350, maybe $360. I don't remember exactly. I mean, the action's super great. Overall thickness is 0.512, and it weighs in at just 2.6 ounces. So that's really that. If you subscribe to the 1 ounce per inch of blade length, so what that means is if it's a 4-inch blade, it should weigh 4 ounces, the whole knife. This one is a 2.7-inch blade, and it weighs in at 2.6 ounces. So it's under your ounce to inch ratio weight standard, if you will. I don't even know where that came from. I know that a lot of people use that as a standard, or as a benchmark is probably a better word. So here it is with a standard size Sharpie. I know I've shown some giant knives, and people comment jokingly that I'm using one of the short stubby Sharpies. No, this is just your standard Sharpie. I don't even own any of those short stubbies. I do have some jumbo Sharpies though. That would probably mix up some people if I brought one of them out, but that's not going to happen either. So here's the Spyderco Delica, a knife I've always said is on the small side. Since I pulled out the Hellraiser, this is a larger knife for sure. So it does make the Basset look tiny. But all in all, it's a cool knife. It's a nice blade shape, nice handle. For me, it's just small. The pocket clip does work really good in the pocket. Like I said, overall, very cool. It just doesn't work in my big, beefy hands. That's all. So if you have smaller hands, it would work great. This would be great for the ladies out there with their smaller hands and their shorter little pockets. This might actually fit in the women's jeans pocket. I don't know for sure, but I know they have really short pockets, and that's always a problem to get a knife to fit correctly. So this might be an option. I'm sure you can find some on the secondary and whatnot, and I'm sure they'll do another run. I think this was a certain batch or something, so I'm sure they will be available. There's always another knife. You can always find something available. Even one-off customs get sold and traded on the secondary. That's how I got this one. So yes, if you miss out on a drop somewhere, don't get too emotional about it. Someone will sell it later. You might pay a little bit more. Don't pay a lot more because it's not worth it. People do that, and I hate the scalper, not the scalpers, but the flippers. They buy it at table price and they sell it for twice as much next week just because they can. Ugh, those guys drive me nuts. Anyway, check out Keanison Knives down below. I'll put the link to their website, and I'll try to put a link to the other video, their custom version that I did earlier in a couple of years back. So check them out. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic rest of your day.